Ephesians 6:10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
Answer to how you calling.
There's a silent killer that doesn't strike with a knife or a gun. It doesn't leave visible scars, yet it destroys millions of men and women from the inside out. It's something many laugh about, normalize, or even defend as harmless pleasure. But behind the mask of entertainment lies one of the most powerful tools of spiritual decay in our modern world: pornography. You may think it's just pixels on a screen, but what if I told you those pixels are poisoning your soul, rewiring your brain, and draining your life force one click at a time? At first glance, pornography seems like a harmless escape. It's easily available, free and private. Society treats it as something everyone does, a natural part of life. But deep down, most people who consume it feel a strange emptiness afterward. That heavy feeling in your chest, that guilt that lingers, it's not random. It's your soul reacting to something that goes against your natural design. You can ignore it, but the body and spirit never lie. When a person starts watching pornography, it triggers the same reward centers in the brain that drugs like cocaine do. Dopamine floods your system, giving you a temporary high. But here's the catch. The more you indulge, the more tolerance you build. What used to excite you no longer does, so your brain starts craving more extreme content. Without realizing it, you begin chasing darker, more twisted fantasies just to feel the same rush. It's like feeding a beast that never gets full. And with each feeding, that beast takes a little more of your humanity. Your mind starts to change. Your attention span shortens, your motivation drops, and your ability to feel real attraction or intimacy weakens. You start losing interest in real women, in real relationships, and even in real life. The world becomes dull compared to the fantasy world you've created on your screen. The problem is, it's not real, it's an illusion. You're giving your mind the reward of sexual pleasure without earning it. Without love, effort, or connection. It's spiritual theft, stealing pleasure from a moment that never existed. Here's where it gets darker. The soul, that deep, quiet essence inside you, cannot thrive in an environment built on lust and artificial stimulation. Porn disconnects you from the present moment. It turns something sacred, intimacy and creation, into something mechanical, empty, and animalistic. The more you consume, the more your inner light fades. You stop feeling connected to God, to your purpose, to that sense of peace that comes from living in alignment with truth. You might not even notice at first, but life slowly loses its beauty. Music doesn't feel the same, nature doesn't move you, and even your goals start to feel meaningless. That's the soul's way of crying out for help. Have you ever noticed that after watching porn, you don't just feel tired, you feel spiritually drained, almost hollow inside? That's not a coincidence. It's the invisible cost no one talks about. The body pays the price too. Frequent ejaculation without connection or purpose weakens the body's energy system. Ancient traditions knew this, from Taoist monks to Christian mystics. They understood that sexual energy is life energy. When it's wasted, your vitality fades. You start to feel fatigued, your drive disappears, and your masculine edge dulls. Even your testosterone, the hormone that gives men their strength, confidence, and focus, begins to drop. You might notice weaker workouts, poorer posture, and less willpower to pursue your goals. It's as if the fire inside you is slowly being extinguished. Porn doesn't just drain your strength, it rewires your instincts. You begin to see people as objects rather than souls. The sacred view of human connection turns into lustful consumption. The more you indulge, the less empathy you have for others. You start chasing images rather than emotions, novelty rather than depth. This is the psychological slavery of pornography. It promises freedom and pleasure, but it delivers numbness and dependence. Imagine what happens when millions of men are in this state. Weak, distracted, spiritually disconnected. Societies collapse not through war, but through the slow corrosion of discipline and morality. Porn creates generations of men who are addicted to fantasy rather than reality. Men who no longer chase greatness, who no longer lead, who no longer fight for anything beyond the next dopamine hit. This is not just a personal issue, it's a global epidemic of weakened souls. But there's a way out. You are not meant to live like this. You are not meant to feel ashamed of your desires. You're meant to master them. The journey back begins with awareness. The moment you understand that porn is stealing your energy, your confidence, and your peace, you awaken. It's like waking up from a long, dark dream. Suddenly you see how much time you've lost, how much potential you've buried. But instead of imagine waking up tomorrow with the same mind you had before you ever saw pornography. Pure, focused, uncorrupted. How much stronger, more creative, more confident would you be? Quitting porn isn't just about stopping a habit. It's about restoring your original power. In the first week of quitting, your mind starts to clear. You'll notice sharper focus, more vivid dreams, and a strange calmness returning. After a few weeks, your energy levels rise. Your body begins to rebuild. You feel your strength coming back, your drive returning, your motivation reigniting. Around a month or two in, you begin to experience something even deeper: self-respect. You look at yourself in the mirror and no longer see a man chained to his impulses. You see someone who has regained control. The spiritual transformation is the most beautiful part. When you stop feeding lust, you start feeding your soul. You begin to feel emotions again: gratitude, joy, love. You start appreciating real women for who they are, not for what they look like on a screen. You find beauty in simplicity, in music, nature, silence. And slowly, your connection with God or the universe deepens. You start to feel guided again, protected, loved. That's what happens when you stop polluting your inner world. But make no mistake, the path isn't easy. The temptation will come, whispering in your ear, trying to pull you back. Your brain will beg for another hit. This is where your true strength is tested. You have to remember that every time you resist, you grow stronger. Every time you win a battle against lust, you rise above the version of yourself that was once weak. Discipline is the sword that cuts through addiction, and faith is the shield that protects your soul from falling back. The mind also begins to rewire in powerful ways. Studies show that after a few months of abstaining from pornography, dopamine sensitivity returns to normal, making everyday experiences feel enjoyable again. A meal, a walk in the sun. Your motivation to create, build and connect comes back. You start living rather than escaping. And as this transformation continues, you begin to understand something profound. True pleasure isn't found in constant stimulation. It's found in peace, purpose, and love. One day, you'll look back and realize that pornography wasn't just stealing your time, it was stealing your destiny. And in that moment, you'll thank yourself for breaking free. The soul that once felt empty begins to glow again. The mind that once wandered aimlessly becomes focused. The body that once felt weak starts to feel alive. You become grounded in who you truly are, no longer a slave to impulse, but a master of your energy. And the more you protect that energy, the more powerful your life becomes. You attract better relationships, stronger opportunities, and a clearer sense of direction. You finally understand that your sexual energy is sacred, not to be wasted, but to be transformed into creativity, confidence, and purpose. Pornography is not just a habit, it's a spiritual weapon designed to weaken humanity. But when you break free, you do more than heal yourself. You become a light for others. You show what real strength looks like, not in domination or ego, but in self-mastery. You inspire other men and women to reclaim their minds, their souls, and their futures. And in that victory, you find the greatest reward of all: peace. Not the shallow peace of momentary pleasure, but the deep peace of knowing you are in control of your life again. You're no longer running from yourself. You're walking in truth, with clarity, with dignity, with strength. That is the path of the awakened soul, the path back home. Because in the end, pornography was never pleasure. It was poison disguised as freedom. But now you see it for what it is. You've escaped the illusion. And from this day forward, you don't just survive, you rise. If you made it until here, leave a crown emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you reach the end and are truly willing to finish what you start. And remember, live with honor or die a coward. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and stay strong.